Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us at the Empowering Minds monthly webinar series. Thank you for coming back and joining us again. Today's topic is all about becoming an entrepreneur. This is a really great topic, and today we're going to be sharing with you some tips and strategies on how to really build your business. You know, whether you have experience with building a business or not, or maybe you don't feel comfortable in your abilities to build a business. It's really about learning the skill set and mindset, which brings me to the first and probably the most important thing about becoming an entrepreneur is really growing a mindset and developing a positive mind frame to really, achieve your goals and success. Laura, being a professor and being from the educational background and industry, I know, especially during this time, it's really vital that students and teachers both have a mindset to really achieve success. So how have you found that one can stay motivated to really achieve a positive mindset, and what really drives that motivation, and from your experience with this?
Well, growth mindset, like you said, is vital, especially with what's going on now. And I think people have had to redirect and shift a lot. Like there's a great paradigm shift, right, that's happening. And I think people have definitely had to kind of just go kind of lean into things,
Right.
unexpectedly, of course, but then they were like, okay, well, when am I really capable of? What can I see for myself? What's my vision, and where can this eventually lead to? And I think it's a matter of being able to really get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's true
A
because
lot
it's
of people don't want to dive into the unknown, and that
so
kind of
true.
holds them back sometimes.
Absolutely. And we're such creatures of habit. We're very habitual. We like routine. And that's really, the pandemic is really what changed all of this, is just
Right.
that it's just that we were forced to just shift our thinking and say, okay, well, I can't really depend on this anymore, but what is for me, what is potentially out there that maybe I could invest myself into, discover. And I think people have really had to just look at things really differently and maybe explore ideas that they kind of put on the back burner. Maybe there were these ideas or thoughts that you had, and you were kind of like, I don't have time for that. I'm not going to just, I'm not going to entertain that right now. But now you kind of do, and so you're like, well, you know what, maybe I am going to take up that idea I once had a couple years ago and never really bothered with it or
Right.
ventured into it, because you just put it off. You put things off, you don't really let me start writing that book, or let me
Right.
start, yeah. And you start thinking, maybe I really should see where this goes, and that's great, because you really just never know where it could possibly lead to. And that's really what I think inspires and motivates individuals, is just that what you want to do essentially is find what differentiates you. And one thing that I came across from an author, Whitney Johnson, Disrupt Yourself. And I was in a recent workshop with her, and she mentioned create, don't compete.
Wow, I love that.
I love
Create, don't
that.
compete.
Yeah.
Yes,
That
So
yes,
sounds
good.
amazing.
yes. And I was just like, yes, like that's it. I was like,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, that's amazing,
Yeah.
because that's exactly what it is, right? It's a matter of what is it about you, like that muscle that you have, right?
Right.
That is so unique only to you, right? Um, that no one else really has. What is it? Again,
Yeah.
that is
Right.
so
You have to
special.
find what
And
really
that,
speaks to you. Right.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
it's definitely so true. And I love,
right,
how you talked about the unknown, because a lot of people are scared to dive into something that they don't know about,
Right.
and they feel
that
like
was
they're gonna fail.
absolutely.
And I, like you were just saying, I just read a quote actually that I wanted to share. The fear of failure, fear of being the one to do it differently, the fear of reasoning becomes the real impediments to growth because the mind is so crippled. So you're crippled by fear and the unknown. And it's so true. I know this for myself. I'm sure all of you, sort
Mhm.
of feel the same way. And I feel like it's really hard to get past that. But I do think the pandemic, like you mentioned, opened up a lot of opportunities for people to explore the unknown because they didn't really have a choice, right? Some
Right.
people were just sort of thrown into it. They lost their jobs, unfortunately,
Yeah.
or they were thrown into situations where they kind of had to make ends meet and find other opportunities. So I feel like what that does, it help you inspire that mind growth and really keep it to help you achieve your goals.
Yes, absolutely. And it's a matter of leading with vision as well.
Right.
You know, it's just like what
So
innovative
good.
ideas, right? Can you really like what is it that's novel? What is it that's unique and different?
Right.
Risk taking, obviously, right? These are things that are really scary, but at the same
Absolutely.
time, you have to be fearless, you know, in your, because you have to think, okay, well, no one else is doing this, so why not me, right?
Right. Yeah,
Right.
fearless. That's
Yeah,
so true. I mean,
yeah.
it's a big
And
part
I
of
think
it.
yeah, absolutely. And it's a matter of being, I think, communicative as well.
Hmm.
Um, Leading by example.
Right.
Uh, it's
And
it's I think you just also have to really sit with yourself and see where is it that you want to go and grow, you know,
yeah,
and
mapping out that long-term vision for yourself, writing down your goals, and really sort of understanding what you're looking to achieve in the long run. And I know, speaking of fearless and writing down your goals, Jenny is a perfect example of this. She built her business from the ground up. Being an entrepreneur, you working full time, you're balancing a family, all these things. I mean, you are the living, breathing example of entrepreneurship. And I feel like you can add a lot of value too in telling us how you've achieved such success this far.
Yeah, so I totally agree with you, with both of you, because it is, let's call it like it is. It is sad how many people don't start because their fear of the unknown, their fear of
yeah,
rejection, because in entrepreneurship, it is really not for the faint of heart. You have to have a backbone, or if you don't, you will get one. You will grow thick
Really
skin
quickly.
because there is rejection that's involved. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself out on the
Right.
line in promoting whatever it is that you want to share with the world, right? Because all of us have gifts and talents. Another thing is that's so important is that we do things in a way that no one else knows how to do, right? So like what Laura was kind of mentioning earlier, we all have gifts and talents, but no one can do something the way that we know how to do something, right? And that is our superpower, right?
absolutely.
That is what makes us special. But it's, do you have the grit and the tenacity and the, perseverance to continue to show up every single day and fight for that? And that is entrepreneurship. Like I may have a full-time job, but I see firsthand, from our business, from our agency that my husband and I started 3 years ago, every day of what it takes, especially my husband, because he does it every single day. I help to an extent, but it takes a lot of work, and people don't realize that maybe, they think they have an idea of like what they want to do, but like it really does take hard work. I have had so many conversations, especially within the past year because of the pandemic, like you guys just mentioned, like not a lot of things aren't concrete, or like maybe it's not stable. You could lose your job like that. And then what are you going to do? You have to reinvent yourself, but how are you going to do that? Or what other job are you going to find out there? Are you going to start your own business? Like, what do you love to do? Right. So these are the first things that you have to think about when you're like trying to start your entrepreneurial journey, because everyone is looking, not everyone, I don't want to say that, but a lot of people are looking to start a side hustle. How many people out there would benefit from making $500 a month extra a month, or $1,000 a month? Like, I cannot tell you how many people or friends that I know that have started in direct sales or got thrown into a business unexpectedly. One of my best friends, she just recently lost her brother, but what he left her and his family was a restaurant that he newly acquired. So she is diving into the restaurant business. And she, like you, is Laura, she's a professor at UNF, so she's learning to know what it's like to have different streams of income. You have to diversify your income in this day and age. This is just how it is.
Right.
You cannot rely on one income anymore.
No.
but it does take a lot of work, a lot of systems and processes, something that my husband and I have been learning for like the past 3 years and more. And we may have a somewhat successful business now, but that wasn't like that the first year. It wasn't like that the second year. You know, this is our 3rd year in business and we're making money. But my husband started relationships and networking a lot of years prior to that.
It takes time to actually build those relationships and really network and put yourself out there.
Because that's the one thing that's never going to change. You know, like social media can change, you know, things can change in the world, but like it's the one-on-one connection and building those relationships with people.
And we just talked about this too, that you can't expect instant results, which we just talked about. I mean, you want instant gratification.
Social media is not your, I may be in social media, but that's not your savior.
Right.
You know, in the end, it's word of mouth. It's what people will learn to know, like, and will buy from you if they know, like, and trust you. Right. So you have to build those relationships on and offline.
Yeah, so I think it's really important that people understand that you're building assets, like you said. You're building a foundation. You're building a future for your generation of kids and for yourself. So you can't expect instant results. And I know a lot of people start a side hustle. They want to make a couple extra dollars. But like you just said, Jenny, it's really about building relationships, building the foundations, really putting yourself out there and making sure that you're staying on top of the game consistently, day in, day out. It takes a lot of work to become an entrepreneur, but if you are ready to do it, you really have to dive into the unknown, like you both are saying, and persevere and push through and be ready to fall. You're going to make mistakes.
Oh my
gosh. You're going to fall down. You're going to get a lot of more no's.
So many times, but you'll be a better person in the end.
You're going to get a ton of no's, probably more no's than yeses.
Oh my
But the no's are what's going to make you stronger and actually build your business. If you don't get no's, then you're not being successful. That's just the way that I look at it, because you're not asking enough then, you know?
You know what? Let me tell you one thing, side note, because one of the sexiest things that I have ever heard come out of my husband's mouth was when he was going over a proposal with a potential client. He said to him, I don't compete on price, because especially as women, like I know a lot of women that have a hard time charging what they think they're worth. That's a problem that's within the, you know, that community. And I've seen it a lot in the freelancing community. You know, you need to be confident in what you bring to the table, and you need to charge for that. You know, you should never discount yourself. And that's a big thing in entrepreneurship. You need to charge what you're worth and be confident in that.
You know, you also mentioned earlier about doing what a lot of other people are doing. You know, some people, maybe they have the same side hustle. Maybe everybody's in direct sales. Maybe everybody's starting the same business. But I think what you have to remember and differentiate is that your story is unique the way that you can tell your story. So whether it's the same business or not, you have a different story to tell from a different perspective. So I don't think you should worry about, you know, being the same as anybody else or having the same business.
If it's oversaturated.
Yeah, you know, I don't think that's even an issue. I think it really matters about your own story and your own journey and how you can tell it uniquely for yourself and from your perspective. And that goes back to what Laura was saying about that mindset. That all comes back to growing that mindset and really making sure that you are staying motivated and understanding what your long-term goals and visions are.
It's so important to do that. You have to know what your long-term vision is.
Yeah, I mean, and I know, you know, being thrown in, I know for myself, I was sort of thrown into entrepreneurship. You know, for me, I unfortunately lost my job last November. And I've been working in corporate America for, I can't even tell you how many years. So when I lost my job, my whole world fell apart. I mean, I didn't think I would be able to come back from that because I was just so used to working a 9-to-5 job every single day. And that was my main source of income. And I didn't know what else to do. And that's when I, you know, decided to launch my business, Simply Healthy and Organic, and sort of do it full time. And I can't tell you how difficult this journey has been. I mean, like you said, I have fallen. I have gotten tons of no's. There's a million people out there who don't want to buy my vitamins. And I'm like, why not? What's wrong with me? Why don't you want to buy stuff for me? You know, and it makes you like lose your self-confidence in your ability to understand, you know, why doesn't people want to buy from you? Do they not like me? Am I not good enough? Is my business not good enough? It makes you question yourself. So one of the things that I had to do, I don't know how you guys do this, but self-talk. I really had to really do a lot of self-talk for myself, self-motivation, and do a lot of affirmations and just keep saying every day, I'm going to succeed. You know, today I'm going to sign on 5 new clients, or today I'm going to sell 5 vitamins, whatever it was. But self-talk was just so important for me to really get by and really, you know, keep moving on, because I can't even tell you how difficult this journey was to lose my job and start entrepreneurship full time without knowing how to run a business, without having the skill set. But what saved me is having a mindset, believe it or not. That was the main thing that I needed to run my business, was a strong mindset.
Okay, so first of all, I applaud you so much, and I just want to recognize that given your journey, you know, that you're on right now, even though you've lost your job and you've been thrown into entrepreneurship full time, you have written 3 children's books. You launched a podcast. Okay. You have your own health and wellness business that you're consistently building, because I see you online every single day showing up, putting out a video, putting out content, valuable content at that, you know, and you are doing the damn thing, you know, and that is admirable. And I applaud you so much for that. And it does take work, Jen. It takes continued work. You have to keep showing up for your audience. You know, yes, you know, like it's not easy at all, but your mindset is what's going to lead you through. Like Laura has always like told us in every single webinar series, it is so important. It lays the foundation for how you show up in your career, your business, your life, your relationships, everything. It is so like the foundation. So
no, it really is.
To you.
And well, thank you. I mean, well, I have a great group of ladies who are helping me out here too. So you guys are always supporting, and I think that's another thing that's really important in entrepreneurship, is having the support of people around you, a network of people who can actually support you and keep motivating you. So you want to surround yourself with great people who are, you know, going to influence you in the right direction. And Laura, I know you can speak a lot about that, just you know, just the importance of having a positive group of people around you and that network of support.
Absolutely, because your circle is everything. And also, you know, it's a matter of staying like intrinsically motivated from within, you know, just making sure like what you're getting from what you're doing by essentially showing up for yourself is what you want, you know, because you're like, you know, I know that this is important. I know in the long term, and you're just looking at it from a long-term goal perspective. It's like, okay, well, in the long run, I know all these little short-term goals, everything, all these little steps incrementally will lead up to this ultimate vision that I have of myself and for myself where I want to be, you know?
Yeah, that's so true.
Visualizing it, right? And seeing exactly like what it is, like what do you want your office to look like? What will be the name of your practice?
Oh, that's so true. I love that. You know, it's so true that you say that, because I was talking to somebody, you know, who works in the business with me, and they were saying you really have to picture yourself on stage speaking to a group of people about your business and that you're successful and that you're motivated. And I'm thinking that sounds like so crazy, but they're right. That's what you have to do to build that mindset to really achieve your goals. It's so funny. Absolutely. And I know one of the things for me too that I had to do was just be patient with myself. You know, before we came on here, we were just talking that I wanted instant gratification. I just needed to learn patience. I needed to learn that things were not going to happen overnight, that it was a journey, and that I was building it every single day, and that it takes work, and that I had to put effort into everything that I was doing, but I just had to be patient with myself and be patient with others as well, because not everybody is as kind as you would think they are. The world is different directions. They're so diverse, especially during this pandemic. So you get a lot of different people who are coming at you with different thoughts and ideas. And I just really had to learn to be patient. So that's something that I think entrepreneurship teaches you, is the idea of patience.
Yes. And it is,
Jenny, you can talk about that.
I will tell you, it is not glamorous. I shared with you guys at the last webinar series that I felt like I was falling behind. I wasn't performing to my best of what I thought was my ability. We had like one client say that too, not me specifically, but the performance in general was not where they thought it would be. So we had to have a conversation about that. And that's hard because when, you know, because we don't want to feel like we're doing a bad job. We don't want to feel like, rejected or anything like that. But you know what? This is what happens in entrepreneurship. You're going to please some people, you're going to not please some people, but you learn and you grow from there. Right. And so anyone that thinks that owning a business is amazing and it's like all sunshine and rainbows, no, you're in for a rude awakening, because you're going to really get like checked, in a reality check. Because you will be put in your place by other people where you think you're amazing, but then they're like, no, you're actually not. Oh, we need more from you.
So funny. That's
so it could be humbling, and you learn from it. Right. So my husband and I know all about that, it's hard. I'm here to tell you it's freaking hard, but is it rewarding in the end? Yes, it is.
Because you have to be willing to work.
More people. Yeah. We're helping a lot, like several people. We have clients that have been with us long term, for over a year, that renew their contracts with us. So we know we're doing something right, but that took a lot of work. And that's why I think it's important when you're in entrepreneurship, whatever niche or industry you're in, you should always have that learning mentality. You should always be learning.
That's a great point.
And I can only say, specifically in the industry that I'm in with digital and social media marketing, we have to stay up to date with the social media trends, because the landscape is always changing, like one day Facebook is doing this, then the next day it's not. And then Instagram is doing this, and then it's not.
And you have TikTok and you have all this other stuff going on.
Exactly.
No, it's so true. You got to keep investing.
So you should always have that learning mentality to invest in your personal and professional development. Always. Yeah. That is one thing that I will always tell people, one thing that Jen, we talked about is the mentorship, like if you're just starting out in entrepreneurship or anything, like find yourself a mentor, because it's going to help you learn things faster and also challenge you to be better,
But find a mentor who's been successful, who can help you achieve your goals, who can influence you in the right direction, Yeah, I think that's important. And like you said, you really have to invest in yourself every single day. I love that you said that, Jenny, because it's so important. I know for me, I listen to podcasts. I try to read books. I try to find educational videos. I try to make sure I'm investing in me every single day. And I think it's really important that when you're starting off in entrepreneurship, it's a must. You have to invest time in yourself to develop yourself and keep learning every single day, like Jenny said. Laura, I know as a professor, that's probably one of the main things you have to do as well.
Absolutely.
If I could keep Laura in my back pocket and bring her out every single day to pep talk me, I totally would.
Her mindset is grown already. We need her mindset with us.
We do. I need Laura vibes every single day.
We need the Laura juice.
Oh my gosh. I need you just imagine like where you'll be at 3 years from now with your company, Jenny. Like just see.
Oh my gosh.
Know,
look how far you've come.
I might need to quit my job, my full-time job. To
you will.
Right.
You're talking about me. Look at you. We're so happy and proud of you. You've come so far. You've achieved so much with Danny and yourself. And you guys have grown this business from the ground up. And
it is like good, bad, and ugly. I will tell you, it is good, bad, and ugly. But it's all worth it. It's all worth it.
I see you shining. I think your agency just got an award. Didn't you guys get an award recently, Jenny?
Yes. So was it October? We won an award, but I have to give credit to my husband, because I told you, just because our agency has been live for like 3 years doesn't mean that it's just been in the making for 3 years. It was years before then, because my husband freelanced for many years before then. But we won an award by ManyChat as Emerging Agency of 2020. So it's a big deal for us.
See, that's a huge deal. Talk about achieving.
I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud of him.
Nice.
So awesome.
So like he says, we have to defend that award and keep doing what we do and, striving for
Right.
greatness.
See?
And
There you go. That's
See?
achievement motivation.
Yeah.
And
And
I
the bar
also
has been set.
yeah.
We just have to raise it now every single year. So
Yep.
Absolutely. And I also think what you do throughout your life can actually help you build entrepreneurship. I know, Laura, you've dived into some new stuff lately as well, into new areas in your profession. I don't know if you want to talk about it and touch upon it, that sort of helps you get into entrepreneurship eventually as well. But I know that sort of helps you build your character and prepares you if you do want to start your journey to become a business owner later on.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think it's a matter of looking at things like, well, okay, in psychology, we have something called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right?
Mhm.
And it starts at the it's a pyramid, and at the very base level is physiological needs, right? And which must be met, like food, eating, sleeping, safety. And those are like the basic necessities of life, right? And then, the next level, and it serves as motivation for the next level and the next, like once that level is achieved. So the next level would be social needs, right? Very important. Needs of belonging, right? The fact that we're having these needs, like reciprocal relationships, that we feel like our friendships and our relationships with others are loyal and they're authentic. And then that would be our social needs. And then we have these esteem needs, right? Where most people are professionally, right? So they're like, okay, well, here's where I am and I'm working towards these goals, and here's where I eventually want to be. And most people will level off right at esteem, which is great, and that's fine. It is expected. But then there's the highest point of the pyramid is actually self-actualization. And so these are individuals that are like, okay, yeah, I'm here, I'm working in my respective position, and it's great and everything, but you know what? There's more to this. I want more.
That's so interesting.
Myself. Yes. And they're like, they feel as if there's a higher purpose, a higher calling.
Right.
And so they might leave their regular 9-to-5, their safe job, if you will, right? And they're like, this is what I was supposed to be doing. This is what I am meant for.
Right.
And maybe it's by fate, it's by destiny. We don't know, but it's just, you feel it. You're driven by it. It's such a calling. It really is. It pulls you, and it's like, this is what you were meant to do. And you'll hear of these, these individuals. You're like, oh my God, why would they leave their 5-6 figure salary and start from the ground up? Like, why would they risk all that? And it's because they have this vision. They feel this higher purpose, this calling, And I think maybe that's what's happening, with some entrepreneurs. Maybe that's what they're feeling. Maybe it's a matter of, well, why not? Like, what maybe this is steering me in this direction because this is where I'm supposed to be. Maybe this is where I never knew I wanted to be. But why not? So it's a matter of maybe going along with the flow. Maybe also just maybe understanding that direction is probably redirection, if you will, is maybe your purpose, and it's a sense of, well, yes, you were here, because it's like I feel like every door that closes, right, is leading us closer to where the doors are supposed to open.
Yes.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, as much as I hate to admit it, that is so true, but
right?
that frustrates me though.
And I understand now doors, and now I get it. I'm like, okay, that's why, this is, I was being redirected to where exactly
one door closes, another door opens, right?
Yeah.
There you go, right? Exactly. And I believe that fail stands for first attempt in learning. And man, do you learn.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, you learn so much. You do. You learn. You learn so much about yourself. You learn about grit. And you're like, you know what? I'm not going to take no. I'm not going to accept this. I know I'm meant for greater. I'm meant for better, and I'm going to have that. And that is the mindset that will propel you. And it's a matter of realizing that you're so worthy of that vision. You're more than capable. You have to believe in yourself. You have to invest in yourself.
That's a big part
100%.
Yeah.
have to
And I
believe in
mean,
yourself.
even as much as you fail, you really have to keep
Yeah.
wanting that goal, like you said.
Resilience.
You
Yeah.
have to desire it. You have to live and breathe that goal. You have to want it every single day. You have to get up and think about it every single day. And as much as you get knocked down, you have to get up and persevere again, like you're saying.
Oh my gosh.
You have to want that goal.
Exactly.
It's so hard. I will tell you guys, it is so hard.
Yeah.
It really is.
If anybody's listening that thinks that becoming an entrepreneur is easy, or it's just easy money, or it's an easy side hustle, you need to rethink your plan here, because one of the things that I will tell you is that becoming an entrepreneur takes a lot of time and effort. And you really have to sit down and map out your goals and understand your vision. And you have to be ready to work. You have to be ready to put aside the things that, you know, don't matter anymore. So forget about partying every day. Forget about, you know, trying to do this. I mean, it's true. A lot of people think they can have their cake and eat it too, but I feel like you need to have that balance. You have to really understand that some things are just not going to be as important anymore. And if you want to dedicate your life to entrepreneurship, you have to put in the time and effort. I'm not saying you can't go out and have fun and do stuff on the side, but you have to have a balance. You have to figure out how to maintain that balance.
That is so important, because I will tell you, my husband and I are night and day. Because my husband, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Gary Vee, but he is all about, and also Grant Cardone, they're all about the hustle. Like, you sleep when you're dead. I'm sorry, I won't do that. I will not sacrifice my rest and my mental health.
So that brings me to a really good point.
There have been so many nights where my husband will break nights to you know, power through and like finish something, but I'm like, no, I'm going to sleep. So it's like, there's different spectrums to it, you know. Who are you, you know? But I'm telling you right now that, like, you need to take care of yourself and your mental health and your well-being.
Yeah,
you know,
whatever you're doing.
Family time is important. You know, you want to build a business, that's great, but that's when you have to become really organized and really strategic and like really plan your systems and processes, because that's what Danny and I learned, my husband, in the past few years. Our systems and processes that we're still working on, they still have to be like modified, because we can always, like, you know, optimize things and make things better. You know, we have a team now, you know, a small but mighty team, where like I'm able to take a few days off because I know that they're working on it. And if they need me, they're going to contact me, and you know, I can answer them. But like, because if you're starting out by yourself, you know, of course you're going to do what you can with what you have, you know, and you should always do what you love, you know, and pursue that. Right. Because if you're going to pursue something that you hate, why would you even do that? Right. In entrepreneurship.
That's a good point. Like, you really have to like what you're doing.
So
your heart
do what
has
you
to
love
be in it.
with what you have. You don't need to invest thousands or hundreds of dollars. Use what you have, you know. But you also have to make sure, you know, we talk about this in every webinar series, like, you know, you have to take time for yourself, and don't burn yourself out.
No,
you know,
that's so true. And I think, you know, I totally agree with what you're saying, because I know for me on a daily basis, like, I have to pick up and drop off my kids. And when they get home at 3 o'clock,
make the time. You have your schedule
to do their homework. I want to make sure I make food for them to eat. So what I tend to do in the mornings when I get up, and I try to do this every day, it doesn't happen, but I try to sit down and map out my day, like my goals for the day. And I say, today I'm going to do two podcasts. I'm going to listen to 1 video. I'm going to call 3 new clients. I'm going to work on some social media content, and just sort of map out my day.
That's a lot.
Well, I'm just giving you an example of like whatever my day would consist of, you know what I mean? I feel like if you don't have a consistent schedule or goals for the day, you're kind of all over the place. So I feel like in entrepreneurship, that's a really important thing to do when you're building a business, is to sit down and map out your day. So that way you kind of have that balance, like Jenny was saying, because it's really important. For me, once my kids are home, I want to make sure I'm sitting with them to do their homework and giving them my time and attention. And then I can go back and do what I'm doing afterwards. But yes, you have to take care of yourself. You have to have that family time and that balance between work and life. So becoming an entrepreneur really takes a lot of processes in place, like you're saying, a lot of scheduling, a lot of organization, which I'm still sort of working on myself. So
are we. It's crazy.
Organizing is hard.
Can someone please come and organize all of our lives? We'd really appreciate that.
I know Laura comes to all these webinars and she's always organized, on point.
That's true. Laura, you need to come and visit us and organize our lives.
Laura's like organizing.
I feel like I need that myself, though. It's like, no.
We all feel like
very
that.
well.
We all feel like that.
I think it's great that I come across that way. That's superb, but no, I'm not.
You're always prepared, Laura.
Yeah,
it's the notes. It's the professor in me. I don't know. I have to be prepared. I have to have like
no, which is good, and that's a big part of entrepreneurship is being prepared. Being prepared for the unknown, being prepared for things that you don't know what's going to happen. Being prepared for the no's, for the yeses. Being prepared for a great client coming on and saying, "Oh, I want to do this or that." You have to be prepared all the time.
All the time, because you never know. There's going to be curveballs. There's going to be detours.
Oh my gosh!
There's going to be obstacles. So many things, right?
I mean, I know for me,
I could tell you stories for days. I really could, but I'm not going to.
Being prepared is a really important part.
Yeah.
So I do know this is a really big topic, entrepreneurship. We have so much to cover, so much to talk about. I know we're going to probably do a couple more webinars relating to entrepreneurship, giving people some more insight and value and, some more ideas. One of the things that we talked about doing is probably having a few business owners and entrepreneurs giving us their feedback and their real life stories of how they've been making it and how they're, achieving their goals so they can sort of show us in real life what they're doing as an entrepreneur. So we will have that coming up soon again. Do you ladies have any lasting thoughts?
Oh my gosh, so many.
I know.
So I would definitely encourage all you ladies and men that are thinking about jumping into the world of entrepreneurship or looking to start a side hustle, make that few extra $100 a month if it would help you or your family, do it. Don't let anything hold you back. It is going to take hard work, but you have everything within you to do it.
Jump in.
And there is going to be rejection. There is fear, but if you get your mindset right and you plug in every single day and tell yourself that you can do it and then know the reason why you're doing it, then everything will be worthwhile in the end. But it is going to take a lot of hard work. I'm gonna let you know right now, from owning an agency like for the past 3 years, that there is good, bad, and ugly. But you know what? It's going to be worth it in the end. So,
right.
Put on your armor and just go to battle.
Yep.
And I do think it's important for people to know too. I know sometimes people are skeptical in starting a business because they feel like they have to put a lot of capital in. There are so many free tools out there that you can use. You do not have to invest a lot of money to start your own business. Please know that. You can become an entrepreneur with zero down. You can find a ton of free tools. You can probably go to 7-Eleven or 99-cent store and find the things that you need there. Honestly, I mean, depending on what you're doing, you don't have to spend a lot of money to become an entrepreneur.
Okay. Like, sorry, before Laura, if you have any closing words, I want to touch upon this because it's so important. So like, before we leave the audience though, like I want to say like some specific examples of what you just said. Like, you don't need a lot of money, to like start something new. So like, for example, if you're in direct sales, like you don't have overhead, you can start a business and like, and promote it from there. But like, for me specifically in like social media, you can learn like how many people go on social media every single day on Facebook or Instagram? How many people go to restaurants and love their food and talk about it all the time about their favorite restaurants? Why can't you go and like approach the owner of the business and be like, I'll do your social media because I didn't see you have any social media presence.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm a social media strategist, right? And like content creator. Like a couple of our customers are restaurant owners, so we do the content for them, some Mexican restaurants because we eat there anyways. Like, why can't you start there and do that? If you're spending your time online, you don't even know like that, like you can actually make money doing that.
Right.
You
And
know,
you're
so I wish,
investing your time wastefully,
right.
where you can actually be using that to make strategic money and build an asset and capital for yourself.
Yeah. So there's so many ways, and you can get certified if you want to take it to a higher level, you know,
Right,
like,
exactly.
so like I have a couple of certifications, you know, through our agency. Like you can totally start something with very little money or no little at all.
Right.
So
I think that's a really important point. And
yeah.
I do also want to say, you know, relating to myself, I was thrown into entrepreneurship because I lost my job, but I also found this calling because of my health issues. So I feel like if you have something going on in your life that, you know, propels you to want to do something bigger, like you were saying before, Laura, you know, I would tell you not to hold back. I know for me, it was difficult at first because I didn't think that I could achieve these goals because of my health issues. And I thought that that would be able to hold me back. But I really had to open my eyes and understand that this was going to actually help me succeed and achieve my goals. So I think it's important for anybody out there who wants to become an entrepreneur, but they're struggling with a challenge or a health issue, whatever it may be. Don't let that hold you back in any way. Let that encourage you. Let that motivate you. Let that uplift you to actually go forward and succeed and achieve your goals.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let it just propel you exactly where you want to be, which is where I wanted that was my like a thought really was to just how would you feel if you were at exactly where you wanted to be right now, the level of success, your end goal, right? What would that feel like, right? And that is how you have to carry yourself. That is exactly how you have to be. You have to think like you already have it. You already
Right.
are want to be.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it's
it's so
already there
important.
because you're already tracking that. It's already there for you.
Right.
So how would it feel like to be at the level of success that you would like to be at? Like where your business is growth wise, your office, what exactly would that feel like? Because when I wanted to move, I was just like, you know, how would I feel if I were in the house I really wanted to be in, you know?
Mm.
And I just started thinking like that, you know, I just started just like my mind just completely shifted into like, how would that feel being in that home that, you know, having more space, being, you know, being where I really wanted to be in the neighborhood that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh. And then, you know, eventually, you know, when we moved, it was just like, wow, you know, like it was just so much more than I ever envisioned.
Right.
But that is how
Manifested
exactly how, yeah.
Yeah, you got to envision your goals.
Yeah.
So what
You
you
know?
think is
And
what's
like
going to happen. Yeah.
yes, and like you already have it because you already do. It's yours. And it's
Right.
a matter of saying, okay, this is mine and I want this for myself and I already have it and I'm working towards this and this is
Right.
exactly how it would feel. That's how it has to feel. It's like, how exactly would it feel if you were to have it? If it's already yours, so how does it feel?
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, no,
Love it.
absolutely. And, you know, I think it's really about having that positive attitude and what you think and what you say to yourself, that self-talk every single day is so important to solidify your goals. So it's so true. But, you know, again, I know this is a huge topic. We can probably go on and
Yeah.
on. We definitely will come back with some more, you know, information about this in future topics. Thank you all for joining the Empowering Minds team once again, and look forward to our podcast. I know we're going to be having some podcasts as well and a lot more webinars. So I thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you in our next webinar.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.